Good evening. This is a stock market recap for Wednesday, April 9th. And what a day this was. The third biggest day in percent gain in the stock market's history. The only comparisons are like the financial crisis and I think the 1987 crash. But yeah, this is it is a big day nonetheless. Dollar wise, this was the biggest dollar day ever, biggest stock market gain. So what I'm looking at, okay, as far as I'm concerned, though, at this point, this is only just a bounce. We have to treat it as such. This is not, we're not changing a lot of trends. We did change the 4-hour trend, and with a lot of force on this, a lot of volume on the move, which is very good. But we still have to be concerned about changing the daily trend and the longer term time frame. So we're just bouncing on the daily right now. One thing I do have to say though is I was kind of looking at this like a potential bearish bat scenario, which if you look those up, they tend to drop quite heavily on the after the right wing. So it's coming from a downtrend essentially, and bouncing up, and then like coming from an overall downtrend, and then we see a bounce, a trend change. But yeah, this is kind of the characteristics where this only goes 0.3 on the way up, made it just above 0.3, 0.382. But yeah, essentially this is still a potential in play. So caution on that, and we need to keep this 4-hour trend going from here. So what I'm going to be looking at now is, does 15-minute oversold mark a 4-hour higher low? So now's the time we're going to be looking for the 4-hour higher low. It looks like we might be heading into consolidation. This was just such a big move so fast. And I full disclosure, I sold on the way up. I sold a bit when we were at resistance. I sold a bit when we were up 5%. I sold a bit at 6% and sold a bit at 7% up. And I did not have anything left by the time I got to 9%. I was all out before that. So that's kind of what my full disclosure, and I'm just waiting for a re-entry at this point. And is it possible for us to keep going very quickly up? Yes, it is. But I'm just not comfortable. I'm more comfortable on a pullback than where we are in this market. Like, I would not be a buyer up here. And I'm waiting for maybe it's a pullback of this previous breakout zone, which we have basically 2 touches here. But yeah, I believe I can see lower prices to come. And watching this bearish bat pattern, I've just seen it play out before, and where this just gets faded. And we still need to change the daily trend. We still need to keep, like, most important right now is keeping this 4-hour trend. But at some point we are going to have to change the daily trend too. So that will come into play. And we want to know, does hourly oversold mark the daily higher low? Does 15-minute oversold mark the 4-hour higher low? So these are going to be the questions that I want answered in the next coming days here, because that will tell us what type of market we are in. If 15-minute oversold does not set a 4-hour higher low, then and we bounce, and then it makes a lower high and then makes a lower low on the 15-minute. So that means it's not, the 15-minute oversold does not set it. Well, then we're looking at the 1-hour oversold or the 30-minute oversold potentially. And we want to see where the support comes from, so where the strength comes from. And so it looks like we're trying to put in a top as far as the 4-hour, and we're just seeing a 15-minute trend change now, which kind of gives more power to a 4-hour top being in. Not for sure, but just losing the 15-minute uptrend is the first step to a 4-hour lower high at this time. We're just looking for a lower high on the daily Then 57.73 on futures, and on SPY that is, and this was like a big bullish Marubozu candle on the day. So this is a very, very powerful candle. With that type of volume, you would expect more upside from here. That is the most likely scenario. So I don't think we're quite done with this move, but I think we might need to cool off a bit before we head back up again. It is possible we could gap up though, like that is definitely a possibility, and you would expect it essentially a gap up with this type of move. But we did go kind of quick. We did, what was that? 12%, 13% in only a few hours essentially. So in 12 hours we did 12.5%, and then we got a bit tired there at the end. But that's a long that's a big move in that short of a time, and I would expect some consolidation here at this point. So we're starting to see that now. We do have the 12 and 8 hourly EMAs underneath us, so we're looking good on this sense. And I'm just going to go through what else we're looking at. The Nasdaq had a much bigger day and is we're just looking for that lower high than 20,044 at this time, coming to this downtrend line actually at this point. But yeah, when we top out on this day, at this time we expect a lower high than 20,000. But when we do top out, wherever that is, it can be above here. I would expect a higher low at this point on all indices. That is, but yeah, we might just come down and try and back test this on the daily. So nothing says that this is our bottom. We need to hold that on a back test on the daily. All right. So the Dow is just looking for a lower high than 42,836, and we made lots of room for a daily higher low at this time. Keeping the hourly uptrend, the 4-hour uptrend, will be key at this point. And when we lose that, then we start looking to the downside. RTY made it to the golden pocket on the way back up, just looking for a daily lower high than 2,092. So much weaker on RTY. Much weaker. To its most recent high, we made a lot of progress. Looks like a double bottom on the daily there is our solid. This is a solid bottom now. And also, if we do lose these bottoms in the future, like if we go up and we kind of fade this move and end up crashing down, we can go quite a bit further down at that point. Like the S&P, if we lose this 481, I'm expecting us to go down to this 457, mid 450s to low 450s at that point. That can be expected. But this is quite a recovery so far, so that it is going to be a challenge for the bears, and we would need to see huge volume coming in counter to that at this point to see that happen. Not saying it's just unlikely, but if there's news, then that is a possibility. So yeah, the volume on the consolidation is going to be notable. So as far as individual tickers, Meta doesn't have a lot of tariff risk, so we're almost at the previous resistance here, right underneath it, 592.866. With this type of volume, I'm expecting higher prices to come. It's strong close, but we could still see a lower high than that 592.66, and we'll see we still have to see where this top comes from, and then see if it pulls inverse head and shoulders. We might just go up to this 633.88 level, but somewhere along here we'll probably run into resistance, and we'll set up a inverse head and shoulders on the daily. Nvidia already crushed through its most recent high, now looking up towards this 122 level, 122.89. That's the main level here. It's a double top really, and looking for that lower high, and we'll see if we set up a right shoulder. And this is what messes people up. We get so bullish that everyone's like, the bottom's in, and then all of a sudden we get stopped here, and then we just fade the move. So we have to change the daily trend. That will be important. When we lose the hourly uptrend, where does the daily high or low get set? Where do we regain the hourly uptrend? Pltr, less tariff risk for sure. So we've broken this high. Already looking to Pltr is looking awesome, and we do have a gap at this 99.1 level. A gap, sorry, the 100 to 90. Actually, I'm just going to keep it to this most recent high. So yeah, we're already well on our way. We would expect a higher low on the way down. Pltr looks good. I'm actually interested in Pltr again. Very interested in Pltr at this point. I'm going to be setting alerts for first hourly oversold. Maybe this chart isn't done yet. It's one of the stronger names. And let's see from most recent highs. We're still down 26%, but the bounce has been really good. Tesla, wow, up 22% today. This is crazy. So we've bounced enough that we would expect a higher low on the way back down. We're just looking for a lower high. Actually, we did break down. We broke support with no follow through. See, these patterns are awesome. When you break support with no follow through, and then we head back up, they're great bull entries. When everyone gets scared and panic sells that they lost the lows, because it's like, who knows where the bottom is, but that's when the people buy. And breakdowns with no follow through are one of my favorite entries for sure. I use them all the time. So we're looking for a lower high than 291.85 at this point. Actually, I guess there is the level before it. Lower high than 284.99, and we'll see if we need to set up a right shoulder. But Tesla's looking good. Keep up our hourly uptrend. A little bit of consolidation at the after hours. But everything just ran so hard, so I would expect that. Apple, definitely a tariff-affected name. So we've got this gap fill from 221.02 to 207, which seems more likely that we're going to get up into. Not guaranteed, but we have a small gap here too. And then after that, we'll be looking at this resistance. But we've made enough room here. We've retraced enough. We're past the 0.5 on the way back up. We should expect a daily higher low on the way back down at this point. IBM, nice recovery, but we are closer to all-time highs with IBM. 11.69%. So IBM is still a name that can. So we're catching support right here. We actually saved this support level, so that's good. Like, IBM is a great name. We've closed all the gaps there. Yeah, IBM's another top contender for me. I'll be looking at pullbacks on that name as well. From our most recent high, we've made enough room, that we'll set a higher low on the way back down. But we want to get up higher. Google, big candle, 9.8% today. Big volume. Expect higher prices essentially. This upper trend line might come into play here with the 50 moving average right there as well. And we'll see. We're just expecting a lower high than 172.91. Yep. And then we'll see if we can set up an inverse head and shoulders at that point. Amazon, big day, up 12%. We've already are past the platinum zone now, and just looking for this daily lower high than 198.34. But we've made enough room that we'll set a higher low on the way back down. Baba, trying to put in a reversal, a bit of a volume climax candle, still hanging out at the 200 moving average. Obviously very at risk with the trade war news. We're still trying to put in a bottom. We need to change the hourly trend. So we've bounced enough on the hourly that we should expect a higher low. but we need to change the hourly trend, get above the high of today. AMD, big day, 23.8. Semiconductors, the ETF was up 17%. That's crazy. 17%. So semiconductors, we want to see them in the lead because they are the most important thing. The most important thing in the market right now, because everything in the tech sector is reliant on semiconductors. So we've made it to the 0.5 on the way back retracement so far. We need to make as much room as possible on this run. Big volume though. Good to see. I mean, last time we tried to put in a bottom there. See that, like, something like this could happen with us, where we think we're putting in a bottom and then we just get faded. So that is something to be cautious of. That when we lose the hourly uptrend, where do we gain it back again? Okay, so where do we lose the hourly uptrend? But it's going to be important when we gain it back, because that will be a telling. Are we just going to fade the move out? So I'll be looking for essentially a loss of the hourly uptrend, and then I'll be looking for a gain of the hourly uptrend for my guide. So yeah, AMD just looking for a lower high. Visa, much less affected by tariff news. We are 9% from all-time highs. So Visa, Palantir, IBM are top watch for me as far as what are going to be the names of the to come, like all-time high names. As far as all-time highs, let's see, we had 12 names, mostly finance sector. Nothing really notable that I really care to trade at this time. Yeah, nothing really. Playa Hotels, actually PLYA. I want to see what this is doing, because PLYA. Oh, it looks like it was bought out, to be honest. Not much movement on this. So yeah, ignoring that. Yeah, it looks like it just had a buyout and kind of flatlined. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, Visa, Palantir, IBM, top names. Rgti, trying to find a lower high right now, daily lower high, than 1031. We did lose our equilibrium on the weekly, but barely lost it. It gapped down and then we recovered. So we're looking for a weekly lower high than 1140. And maybe this is we can still keep this pattern alive and just call that a one-off. But yeah, we're in the middle of the range right now, so no advantage to either side. Microsoft, big bullish engulfing week. Huge day, up 10%. We're just looking for a lower high than 396, and that's on the week. And we'll see if we can set up a weekly inverse head and shoulders. Not that it has to. We can just break above and go ahead to this. These resistances, but yeah, there's a bit of resistance built up on Microsoft at this point. Lots of levels here to deal with, so lots of resistances. Yeah, this is a huge move so far. Loss of the hourly trend. Oh, we're up at the 50 moving average right now too, so loss of the hourly uptrend will be important to see what happens there. SMCI, pretty decent bounce, breaking our most previous resistance. Now we're looking at 43.39, so that's quite a ways away, and then we could be looking at an inverse head and shoulders on the weekly at this point. So that's early pattern recognition. We need to make a bit more of a move at this time, which, I mean, I'm kind of expecting with the way things closed. So Netflix, not much down from all-time highs. Netflix is another down 11%, so another top name. And yeah, so basically this was a weekly trend change with no follow through, and head and shoulders with no follow through. So a fake out. So now we look the bullish way. So we're just looking for a weekly lower high, then 998.70, and we'll see if we've made enough room that we should see a weekly higher low on the way back down. So that looks good. Netflix looks good. Another top contender. I gotta write all these down just so I have them. Okay, and I'll go through coin too, because that's probably the crypto sector. So we wicked just under this resistance here. Oh, nope, we broke it with no fault. Hold on. Nope, we wicked just underneath it, so potentially that could be a top, but we will see if we lose the hourly trend from here, and looking at a potential inverse head and shoulders at this point. Not that we can't break through, but just a possibility. Yeah, big volume. So that this type of volume increases the likelihood of a breakout from this level. That's what you have to look at. If there's huge volume behind the move, less likely that resistance will hold. So, all right, looks good in the market. The important thing is keeping our hourly uptrends. Now that we're seeing a bit of consolidation after hours, yeah, looks like 4 hours. Yeah, looks like we're definitely trying to potentially put in a top as far as the 4 hour goes, but seeing where this 4 hour higher low comes from, and do we maintain this hourly uptrend? So where's the hourly bounce from, and can we set a higher low? We haven't retraced that much at this time. So as long as we keep above, like this resistance here, if we can keep above, because that's the bull flag zone, 0.382. If we can keep above, or if this resistance holds, between these two levels type thing, if this holds, this is a great place to potentially make an entry, and we'll see if we get a pivot off of this level. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Sorry for the long video today. It was a lot going on, so I just wanted to kind of give what I'm looking at as far as potentials now. Like I said, I'm looking for a re-entry. We got way too extended on this move that I'm just not comfortable. Was not comfortable, even though we closed very strong. I'm like, I know I can get a potentially better entry than where we were at. It was just 13% in that amount of time. That's a lot for the S&P. Anyways, take care, and I will do a recap tomorrow. Bye.